I think that the criticism is helpful. I also think that it might, um, I think of a lot of things. The first thing I think is that we actually do have an ideological frame. Myself and Alicia in particular are trained organizers. We are trained Marxists.
About a year and a half ago, I put up a video titled Beware of the Messengers. And the overall thesis of that video was the fact that a lot of political organizations that appear to be good and have good ideas and noble missions are led by very suspicious people with horrible intentions. In that video, I discussed two groups, one of which was Patriot Front, which is essentially a front for white nationalism under the guise of loving your country and loving your family. The other group I talked about was the Women's March, which was organized and led by associates of and admirers of the racist mystic known as Louis Farrakhan.
Now that's fucked up.
The same Louis Farrakhan who recently has been promoted and applauded by famous celebrities like Ice Cube and Chelsea Handler, but hey, no big deal or anything.
This is a big deal! It's a very big deal! What is this?
So let's begin this installment of Beware of the Messengers by discussing an organization whose goals I largely agree with, and that would be Turning Point USA. Turning Point USA claims to be advocates for things like freedom and capitalism and limited government. However, a reason why I have trouble supporting Turning Point USA, even if it's something as little as sharing one of their memes, is because I think that their founder and leader, Charlie Kirk, is a total doofus. Now, I've made several videos over the years about my issues with Charlie Kirk and Turning Point USA, all of which will be linked in the description down below. But to sum it all up, my two main issues with Charlie Kirk are: one, he makes a package deal out of atheism and left-wing politics while promoting Christianity as an answer to left-wing politics. And secondly, it's become clear over the years that Charlie Kirk is a total sellout with the way that he blindly cheerleads for goons like Donald Trump and the Republican Party. And I bring this all up, I use Turning Point USA as an example because Turning Point USA has a lot of goals that I am on board with, but I say all of this to show that I am very scrupulous about stuff like this, and I think you should be very scrupulous about this. You should be very scrupulous about the political organizations and movements that you choose to support. Beware of the messengers. So this all brings me to Black Lives Matter. Now, let me be clear. I am not talking about the slogan or the hashtag. Black Lives Matter. Well, that's pretty obvious. I think anyone who tries to argue otherwise is a total dipshit. I am talking about the organization Black Lives Matter, which was founded and is currently led by Patrisse Cullors, Alicia Garza, and Opal Tometi. Co-founder Opal Tometi has met with and done events with the socialist dictator of Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro. And Tometi has done events with the Rosa Luxemburg Foundation. And for those who don't know, Rosa Luxemburg was an intellectual and one of the leaders of the German Communist Party up until shortly after World War I. And Luxemburg remains a hero to many of today's Marxist morons. Recently, co-founder Patrisse Cullors and even the DC chapter of Black Lives Matter tweeted out a video of Marxist intellectual Angela Davis, where she advocates for the abolition of police. The DC chapter of Black Lives Matter explicitly states on their website that they seek to abolish capitalism, making it a package deal with white supremacy and patriarchy and colonialism, which is just ridiculous. Not to mention, on the organization's main page, they use what appears to be communist dog whistles, using terms like comrade. And to top it all off, videos are now surfacing where co-founder Patrisse Cullors happily admits that herself and co-founder Alicia Garza are trained Marxists.
I think that the criticism is helpful. I also think that it might. I think of a lot of things. The first thing I think is that we actually do have an ideological frame. Myself and Alicia in particular are trained organizers. We are trained Marxists.
And some of you at home may be asking, what about all of the good stuff that's advocated in the name of Black Lives Matter? Stuff like fighting racism and reducing police brutality and pushing for justice reform. And I would say that all of those things are noble battles. All of those issues are well worthy of addressing. But again, you gotta beware of the messengers. As I said in the last video with groups like Patriot Front and the Women's March, and earlier in this video with organizations like Turning Point USA, you should be very scrupulous of the leaders and their true intentions. In this case, it's becoming rather clear that the co-founders are, in fact, Marxists who are trying to sneak some very horrible ideas through back doors and windows under the guise of civil rights and fighting racism.